Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today we'll be reviewing Norwich, the last in the series, 20th in the Premier League on 21 points. So obviously Norwich won the three obviously that were promoted last season. Obviously they came in first place, they won the league that season. And they've been an exciting team to watch in terms of the style of football they play. But ultimately, as I get on to later in the video, it hasn't entirely worked out as obviously they would hope. So as always, we review their cup competitions first. So in the League Cup, they lost in the second round to Crawley. They lost 1-0 in that game. That was a game where they did a lot of changes. They obviously prioritised the league a bit more over the cup. But obviously, Daniel Farke probably wanted the team that he put out to do the job and still win. Because without being disrespectful to Crawley, they are really in League Two, so he would probably have expected Norwich to beat them. But ultimately, they came up short, lost 1-0 in that. In the FA Cup, they're faring a lot better. They got in the quarterfinals. They're at home against Manchester United. So maybe it's been a distraction for them. Maybe the cup competitions, they don't have to fight for points or whatever. It's just a one-off game. They can enjoy it, express themselves as footballers, that kind of thing. And ultimately, sometimes a cup run can benefit you. In terms of league form, if you keep winning, you can be quite confident, that kind of thing. But Norwich is doing well in that. So obviously when the season resumes, they potentially can get to Wembley, so that'd be good for their fans, that kind of thing. But yeah, sort of mixed in the cup competitions for Norwich this season. Obviously, as I started off this video, I was saying about Norwich obviously playing, an attacking style of football that was good to watch. And, that's how they played in the Championship. They got a lot of plaudits, in their title-winning season last season. For the sort of style of football they played, scored a lot of goals. Very good to watch. And yeah, it was just non-stop attack. And obviously when they were promoted, there were a lot of people saying, their attacking football's great, but it's the defence that's going to be a worry. And they strengthened a little bit, but it wasn't exactly players that could do a job, if you know what I mean. It was just players more for maybe squad depth, but they kept a lot of the players from the Championship without really strengthening. They didn't really spend that much. I ultimately feel that's been maybe their downfall. You compare sort of the other two teams that got promoted with in Sheffield United and Aston Villa. Obviously, Villa spent a lot of money, and obviously, they're only 19th, so you could say, maybe that sort of justifies Norwich's decision. Obviously, Sheffield United, they only spent a little bit, but sort of the bulk of their squad is still from last season's promotion season. So, yeah, Norwich chose not to spend a lot. Obviously, they've got some good players. They've got some good young players. They've got Jamal Lewis, they've got Max Aarons, they've got Bruneda, very good player, Timo Pukki, and obviously Campbell. Obviously quite young players, Pukki's a bit more experienced, but he started off the season very strongly. Pukki scoring like nearly every game, I think. But sort of the goals have dried up for him, and sort of that creativeness that Norwich sort of had, sort of at the beginning, midpoint in the season, has sort of gone. So maybe when obviously the season restarts and in a week's time, maybe they get it back, and if he can start scoring again, Norwich have every chance of, staying up. So obviously the issue I feel sort of with Norwich is that they don't have a plan B or C. They only have a plan A, which is sort of like just non-stop attack. And it's all very difficult to maintain that full 90 minutes, especially in the Premier League. When it's all out, high intensity, that kind of thing. You can't expect your players to be like that for the whole 90 minutes, Obviously you see teams do that, like Liverpool, obviously it's a huge part of the way they play, so they're able to maintain it for longer. But for Norwich, it's that little step up in sort of quality and intensity in the Premier League that is a little bit harder for them. And obviously the players, I'm not saying they're bad players because they're not, but you know, the players Norwich have aren't able to do maybe the stuff that they could do in the Championship. You know, the trouble with as well, their defence isn't, you know, as solid. They maybe should have strengthened a little bit in defence, but they chose not to. They're quite slow, the centre backs, so it's very, very difficult. You know, they're joint first with the amount of goals scored, least amount of goals scored. Sorry, and they're in the top 2 as well for goals conceded. So obviously the goals have dried up, and obviously they're still conceding quite a lot. I feel as well it's hard as well when you don't have squad depth to, you know, make changes off the bench. You know, around sort of the sort of festive period when obviously there's a lot of games. You know, sometimes you're playing every like 2 days or so. You know, and you need sort of players on the bench to come on and make an impact. You know, occasionally come in and start if you know one of your players is tired. You know, Norwich shouldn't have that. You know, it was always Pookie up front, Cantwell was there, Beneda was there. You know, Max Allen, Jamal, look, they were all there. So, you know, it's very difficult for them to rotate. You know, you compare it to like sort of top teams like Liverpool, Man City, they can rotate, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, that's one thing that's sort of let Norwich down, is their squad depth. But obviously they have got a good manager in Daniel Farke. You know, he likes to play the attacking style of football. And as I mentioned, it is very good to watch. Like, it's exciting. But you sort of feel sometimes maybe when they go 1-0 up, you know, you need to have that period where you maybe sort of be a bit cautious, be a bit defensive maybe for 10 minutes or so, you know, and play the game in stages. You know, because at the end of the day, if you've gone 1-0 up, your opponent's then going to have to chase the game. So you sort of feel maybe Norwich need to get that in their game. Where if they go 1-0 up, instead of carrying on attacking, trying to get, you know, 2-3 goals, you know, he just needs to defend. You know, obviously maybe the defence isn't good enough to do that, but they've certainly got potentially the midfielder players to do that. In, you know, they've got Tete as well with Cantwell, so maybe they could do that, screen the back four, that kind of thing. I feel like maybe that's what Norwich need to do. Because I feel if they keep just playing that same way all the time, the teams have started to work Norwich out anyway, which is why they're bottom. But, you know, B, it just becomes very easy to play against because, you know, Norwich will score, but you'll know, they're still going to attack anyway, so let's just maybe go counter-attacking or stuff like that, or try and play over the top, you know, because they got slow centre-backs. You know, they'd be back level before you know it. I sort of feel maybe Norwich need to change a little bit when obviously the season resumes next week. But, you know, they have sort of brought a breath of fresh air to the Premier League. Definitely in the way they're playing, it is good to watch. In terms of if they stay up, I don't think they will, even though they're not that far away. Obviously, on 21 points, they're like 4 points away, but yeah, it's a win and a draw away. But I just feel I look at their team, I look at the fixtures they have. I don't think they're going to get that many points when the season resumes. You know, obviously without the fans being there as well for their home games, there's not that going to be support behind them, that kind of thing. I think it's going to be very tough. I think obviously if maybe Pookie starts scoring again, and that creativeness that they sort of had at the beginning, midpoint of the season, comes back, then maybe they have a chance. I feel as well if their defence gets a bit stronger, you know, they do the basics right, I think they have got a chance. But I just feel maybe it's a little bit much for them to do. Obviously, before the season got suspended, they did win, I think. Yeah, they won their last game before the season was suspended, or maybe it was a game before that. So that was a really pivotal result for them. You sort of feel maybe if they did lose that game and then lost the next one, then, you know, it would have just been too much. But you know, there is still a chance. There is still a chance. It's very tight down there, especially from, say, 16th down to Norwich. So, you know, they have still got a chance. And obviously, as I've said, you know, if Piggy can start scoring, Campbell starts providing, Grenada keeps his good form up, the defence is solid, Krul is solid in goal, then they have got a chance and they can stay in the Premier League. But, you know, we'll see. And don't write them off yet, but it's definitely going to be very hard. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If there's any Norwich fans that stumble across this video, what do you think of your season so far? Do you think you'll stay up? If you go down, do you think it'd be a rebuilding job and maybe you'll be in a championship for a few seasons? Or do you think you've got the potential to come back up? If you stay in the Premier League, do you think you'll be able to keep hold of some of your star players, i.e. like Pookie, Campbell, those kind of players? And what do you think you need to rebuild? Do you think you need a bit of more solidness at the back? A bit of youth maybe across the board? You see any players maybe coming through your academy that might be the next star? And what do you think what do you think's ahead of you for the next few seasons? Anyway, guys, it's the last in the series reviewing every Premier League team. Hope you enjoyed the series. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, which will be reviewing the sort of Premier League restart. I'll try and maybe review sort of Palace games as well. But yeah, I'll definitely keep the videos up now sort of the season's resuming. Definitely on Palace games for sure. So yeah, so please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys, and goodbye.